Hello, 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 everybody, everybody. Hello, hello, wherever you are, whatever platform that you are on. My name is Kyle King. I am the founder and CEO of the Writers Game, where we help executives and high level entrepreneurs write, publish, launch, market, and leverage books to be able to scale their businesses by $1 to $5 million every year. So I am so excited to be with you all tonight. We had an amazing conversation last night about the 9 streams of income that you can create from one book. From one book. So if you haven't seen the last conversation, go back to the YouTube channel or on LinkedIn or on Facebook, wherever you watched it. Wherever you watched it, if you're tuning in for the first time, and go check out our first live stream last night where we talked about the 9 streams of income from one book. Okay. So tonight we're building on that conversation. We're building on that conversation. We're going to be talking about the 8 places to sell your books, the 8 places to sell your books. So the 9 streams of income that we talked about last night that I have from my Writer's Game book, The Business Behind Your Story. The Business Behind Your Story. What we talked about last night was these 9 streams of income. Just as a quick recap, are book sales, digital products and services, membership communities and subscriptions. We have our certification programs. We have consultant services. We have speaking engagements. We have curriculum or learning resources. We have live events, and then high ticket coaching programs or mastermind groups. So when we think about the 8 places to sell books, what I talked about last night and how I opened up the call is that 90% of authors only sell roughly 276 copies of their books within the lifespan of their book. Within the lifespan of their book. So that means that an author publishes a book and they, on average, sell 276 copies within the book being published. Within the book being published, okay? So here at the Writer's Game, our goal is within the first 30 days for you to sell 1,000 copies. So tonight we're going to talk about the 8 places to sell books, all right? So if you're with us, comment below, ask any questions that you need, and we want to be able to support you throughout this training as much as we possibly can. All right, let's get it. So the first place that you can sell books, which majority of authors leverage this very well, are consumers and people, of course. So you want to be able to sell your books to people. So what I wrote down is the first place that we recommend our authors to position their books are in front of as many people as possible. Although over time you'll reach a plateau in the amount of people that you're getting access to or that are purchasing your book, it's important to leverage the additional 7 strategies that would be explained. Okay. So the first step to anything is to get your book in front of as many eyes as possible. So when you think about where your target reader is, where are they online? Where are they in person? And then how can you position your book in those specific places? Okay. Now we're going to talk about 7 other strategies, but oftentimes we just want to launch our book on social media. We want to send it out to our friends and family. But if you think about not just where your audience is directly, but where's my audience in mass quantity, that's going to then lead you to all of the other potential places that you can sell the books. Okay. And guys, this is not going to be as long as last night's conversation because it's very particular, these 8 places. So number one place is you can sell it to consumers or people directly. All right. So number two, which is my favorite, are companies. So when you think about companies, where's your audience go to work? Now there's 5 components. There's 5 components to a target audience and what we teach people here at the Writers Game. Number one are pain points and challenges. When you're trying to understand your target reader, you need to understand what are their pain points and their challenges. So what are they struggling with? What are they going through on a daily basis? Number two is their desires and their achievements. What do they really desire? What do they want? What are they going after? Okay. Number three are sources of information. Where are they getting their information from? Is it mentors? Is it online gurus? Is it magazines? Or is it a certain type of book? Is it a certain type of educational forum? Is it LinkedIn groups? Where are they getting their information from? Number four are demographic information. So tell me a little bit about them. Because if we're trying to market our specific book to 55-year-olds, that's a little bit different than how we would market a book that's leveraging or working with 15-year-olds. Okay. So that's number four. And then number five is what we call objections and frequently asked questions. What are some of their most highly frequently asked questions or objections that are leading them to being in the specific place that they are in right now. Okay. So, number two are companies. Where does your audience work? Where does your audience work? See, a lot of times, what I recognize is we're trying to get our book in front of as many people as possible, leveraging these social media platforms. But let's say your book is a nonfiction book that is trying to help an individual battle with mental health, or help them with confidence, or help them with their productivity. Companies are dealing with this on a daily basis. Okay. And if you can enhance that employee's ability to be more efficient and be more productive or show up better in the workplace, that will ultimately help the company's bottom line. So what does that help you? What does that help you do? Page not found on Google. Oh, we got to fix that. We got to fix that on LinkedIn. We got to fix that on LinkedIn. All right. So what will that ultimately help you do? That means that you can take your book, you can position your book in front of that company, right? In front of that company. And then you can ask them, like, hey, does your employees, struggle with confidence? And is that affecting their work ethic? Is that affecting their productivity at work? Well, ultimately, with them not operating from the highest level of productivity, how is that ultimately affecting your bottom line, or the efficiency of your products or services, or the efficiency of how your team is working together? We'll have a solution for you. What would it cost, or what would it mean to you to be able to have your team operate at least 20% more efficient and more productive through their daily basis? What would that be able to generate for the business if your team was more effective? Well, hello, my name is Kyle King, and I have this book for that specific thing. I'm trying to get in front of 500 or 600 of your employees. So now this company brings you in, and they're able to position these books. They're able to buy your books in bulk. And now you're able to, like the 9 streams of income, like we talked about last night, now you're able to position yourself as an expert and go in there and potentially do a speaking engagement or consult with this organization. So number two is companies, companies, companies. What company can I work with that my book helps the employees of that company in mass quantity? So now I can go to that company and sell that book to that company, and they can buy 500 to 600 to 1,000 books at one time. So what we wrote down in the book is, depending on the nature of the content inside your book, getting companies and different business organizations to purchase copies of your book in bulk is a great way that our authors leverage in order to sell thousands of copies at one time, as well as give you the opportunity to get booked for speaking engagements or consulting opportunities. Look, I literally just said that, guys. I literally just said that. Okay. So when you think about your book, instead of trying to find 1,000 people, instead of trying to find 1,000 people on social media, instead of trying to find 1,000 people, everywhere else, what companies can I go to? What is the leader of that company? Who is the gatekeeper? Potentially the assistant to the vice president, to the assistant to the president, potentially director level employees, decision makers, or the person that directly reports or directly works for the decision maker. These are the people that you need to reach out to. I'm gonna give you a quick hack. What you need to do is you need to send your book to that person, whether it's the gatekeeper or potentially the director level employee. Okay, so that's the person that you need to give it to, the leader or the person right directly under the leader. Once you send the book, what I want you to do when you go to FedEx or UPS, I want you to make the package. They have to sign for it. Once they sign for it, I either want you or someone from your team to reach out the next day and say, hi, my name is Kyle King, or I am the assistant of Kyle King, and I just wanted to confirm that you received the book or the package that we sent you the day before. We would love the opportunity to connecting with you so that you can learn more about what we offer, the book, the resources in the book, and how we can potentially help your teams. Okay. Is there a time within the next 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks where we can get some time on the calendar? Now, what you've done is position yourself as an authority. You've asked for what you want, which is just a meeting, a conversation. And now, once you set that conversation, now you're able to talk about how your book would benefit their team, their company, and what would be the overall ROI. And now you have a price. Now, what I want to tell you, when you are getting your book in front of companies or you're selling your book in bulk, here's a quick hack that I want you to write down. Hopefully you're writing this down, okay? The quick hack is that, let's say your book retail value is $25 or $20. When you're selling your book in bulk, you need to drop the price 30 to 40%. okay? 30 to 40%, and give them a bulk price. So let's say you sell it at $10 to $12 per copy because you're selling it to them in bulk. So you can have, like, if you order 200 copies, it's this price per book. If you're ordering over 500 copies, it's this price per book. If you're over 1,000 plus, it's this price per book. If you're working with a local print company, see if they can honor the price point that you would get working with, let's say, an Amazon or a 48-hour book print or a company that prints books in mass quantity for you. Okay. Now, you would never be able to be international companies because you're literally getting those books at $1 to $2 a copy. But if you're working with a local print company similar to like an Alpha Graphics or someone similar to that, see if they can match a specific price point that you would want so that it can get you the profit margins that you want. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready to keep going? So let's get it. Number one is the places that you can sell your book is consumers or people. That's the first step. Number two are companies. Number two are sell your books to companies. Okay. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Number three. Hopefully, I'm so ready for this one. This is my personal favorite, honestly, is nonprofit organizations. So what we wrote down in the book is similar to companies. Nonprofit organizations are a great place to sell books in bulk due to nonprofit organizations' commitment to service in the surrounding companies or surrounding community, excuse me. So there's really the big difference between selling your book to a company, like a for-profit company, and selling your book to a nonprofit organization is really one thing. Nonprofits are serving people and they're not really out here to generally make a profit. Now, they're still a business, so they're trying to be profitable, but they're not focused on that. So if your book in any way can serve the people that they serve, you would be able to position your book into their nonprofit organization as a part of their overall scope and an overall plan. Now, this is how I would position it though. With any nonprofit organizations, majority of them, they're trying to get fundraising, they're trying to get grants, they're trying to go out and get donations, they're trying to do different things of that nature. So the third place to sell your book would be nonprofit organizations, and then position your book as a part of an already existing program that nonprofit has access to or is currently running or potentially has grant funding for. Okay. So if they have grant funding, if they're applying for grant funding, if they have a specific program that they already have, or they have a program that they're looking to do moving forward, you can not just position your book as a part of a resource under the grant, you can position your book also as a part of a program that you can teach where your team or you can come in and get money for the actual educational resource as a part of the grant, as well as you can get paid as the consultant or the project lead or program lead to be able to teach the content to their students or their community. So if they're working with homeless people, or if they have a workforce development program, or if they have people in a hotel, or if they're trying to a transitional program or work with women or men, whatever it is that your book can help support, it would be valuable. And it would be so great if you can find a local nonprofit organization that is existing, that has programs, that potentially has grant funding or has fundraising abilities, and say, hey, I have this book. I would love to position it in front of your market or in front of your students or in front of the people that you serve so that it can be able to help the community. How can we make this happen? Do you have grant dollars already allocated? Could you get fundraising for this? Could we, find sponsors for this? Whatever the case may be. Now, here's a quick hack for nonprofit organizations. So this is a hack that I want to give you guys, and we talk about it in the book as well. Let's say they have an existing program, or they have an already existing market of sponsors or a group of sponsors. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to position your book, and how I would position it is every person that gets a book, you send each book is like per person. So what I mean is kind of like each book goes to a specific person that is getting a sponsor. So you just ask if, let's say you're trying to get 100 copies. I'm going to make it really clean for you. If you're trying to get 100 copies within that nonprofit organization, I want you to tell them to run a campaign for, hey, I want you to get one book, and that if whoever buys that book, it's going to serve one person. So now people aren't just investing in the nonprofit, they're essentially paying for the overall cost of your book, and that will allow you to get into the door, to be able to teach, to be able to coach, to be able to train, and to be able to serve your community. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to everybody, because place number 3, which is my personal favorite, is nonprofit organizations. So we have consumers and people, which is number 1. Number 2 are companies, for-profit companies. And then number 3 are nonprofit organizations. Okay. Number 4, let's get to number 4. Number 4 are another one of my favorites, religious institutions. Religious institutions, you can have churches, you can have mosques. A lot of these are ran similar to nonprofit organizations. They have fundraising, they have donations, they have tithes. They have a lot of these different revenue sources that can buy educational material. And when you look at a lot of religious institutions or churches, or whatever religious institution that you serve or you serve under, they have programs within the church that can benefit their congregation or the people that are coming to their specific religious institution. Now, what you can do, again, as a part of the programs that they have, as a part of the different ministries within the church, is say, hey, I have a book that teaches people how to write books and how to launch books and how to market and how to build. I want to run a program at your church, at your ministry, or at your religious institution, which is an 8-week program. It's going to cost $500 per person. And then I'm going to give back to the church 50%. Now, that's what I would do if I was in your position, because now you can focus on a revenue sharing opportunity instead of just you're coming in and trying to make profit. So when you think about any partnership that you're trying to create in these 8 places, what is the benefit to the other place, not just the benefit to you? So yes, it's great to get what you need in regards to get your message out, to sell your books, to make profit, to help impact people. But when you're thinking about the people that you're trying to partner with, when you're thinking about these organizations that you're trying to partner with, what is the benefit to them as well? And the benefit isn't just that they get your information. How are you going to make their people that they're serving better in their specific lives? And how will it enhance the organization in regards to where you're trying to serve as well? All right. So we're going to stop right here. So number one is consumers and people. And again, I'm pulling this information from my new book. It's not on the market yet, y'all. Y'all are going to get access to it soon. My new book, The Writer's Game, The Business Behind Your Story. Number 1, consumers and people. Number 2 are companies. Number 3 are nonprofit organizations. Number 4 are religious institutions. Is this valuable for you guys? Do you have any questions? Comment the questions below. Comment the questions wherever platform you're watching this video on. Comment the questions. And I want to be able to get to as many questions tonight as possible. And I promise I'm going to answer all of them throughout this call so that I can be able to help position you as a thought leader, whether you're an aspiring author and you just want information, whether you're a current published author, or whether you're a professional trying to leverage your resources to be able to partner with organizations so that you can get your message out there a lot quicker or a lot more effectively. All right. So let's get to number 5. So number 5, I know this one literally like the back of my hand, because my background before we got into building this publishing arm, before we got into all of talking about stories and really being able to enhance, people's businesses by leveraging their story as a tool, is schools and universities. I worked as an administrator, a dean of students within a charter school right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I'm based and where our company is based. And I understand how the money works when it comes to educational institutions. So what we have for number 5 is schools and universities. Now, I'm going to be doing some videos next week in regards to how do you position your book in colleges as a required reading. And it's a little bit different when you're working with colleges as well as higher education, or it's different when you're working with higher education, versus K-12 institutions. It's a lot different because I think that when you look at higher education, colleges and universities, the professors have a lot more autonomy on the required readings. And if you build that relationship with the professors a semester prior, when they're getting their syllabus together, when they're building out their course curriculum, they're able to insert that in as a part of that reading, and they'll be able to bring you in. And if you connect with the deans, if you connect with specific professors at these different colleges, that will be your way into universities. So that's talking about universities. When you're thinking about schools, it's a little bit different, okay? Now, when we think about Title I schools, they have Title I funding. Usually they have a lot more autonomy to be able to move money around in a way that buys educational material, that brings people into to speak, that can bring programs in to enhance their overall school community and their school body. So I think when you're working with Title I schools, and what that means is underrepresented schools or schools that are underperforming, or in underrepresented communities, then that would be advantageous for you to go to those schools. Now, I'm not saying just go to those schools because that's where the money is, because you can also leverage private schools as well as charter schools. And I like charter schools personally because there's not a lot of chain of command. You're going straight to the principal or the director of that school, and you're able to build a relationship with them. Now, when you're looking at charter schools, a lot of these charter schools are ran by the board of directors. Now, the directors or the principals have autonomy, but they also, with bigger purchases, they still have to run that through the board of directors rather than a private school. There may be a lot more flexibility for the leaders of the school to be able to make those purchasing decisions without having to run through 3 to 5 to 7 different people. Okay. So when you're looking at schools and universities, I absolutely love working with schools and universities because at the end of the day, our students and our children are our future. And I personally would love to have a school program and it consistently runs every year, because you know if that school is performing or you're adding to the performance of the students, then you know their school is going to continue to receive funding from the state government as well. Okay. So that's just something for you to think about. And as long as that leadership, as long as that administration is there, and that as long as you build a great relationship with them, it will allow you to consistently work with them over a long period of time, and they'll retain you to be able to work with you. Okay. Now, number two, when you think about schools and universities, how I would go about doing it is reaching out to either the principal, the assistant principal, the guidance counselor, or potentially the team leads as a part of the school, because those people usually have autonomy to choose curriculum, learning resources that can enhance the student body as well. So understand what type of school you're reaching out to. Understand if you're reaching out, obviously, to higher education versus K-12 institutions. Understand the type of school, whether it's public, private, or charter. Understand how that school works in regards to purchasing decisions. Does it have to go through a board? Can the principal have the autonomy? Can teachers have the autonomy? Do they have a specific budget? Understand, I would even go to a board of directors meeting so that you can see the budget and so that you can see how much access they have to be able to move funds around as well. This is where you get strategic about positioning your book in their specific school building. All right. I would also have a pitch deck or some type of media deck. Who are you? What is your book about? How can it enhance their school? Why their school? Why you? And what is it going to do with their student body in regards to efficiency, student performance, school culture as a part of their overall plan to build the school moving forward. All right. So schools and university are number 5. So let's recap one more time. So number 1, for anybody who's just joining, we are talking about the 8 places to sell your books. So once you get your book out, we talked last night about the 9 streams of income from just one book. Tonight, we're talking about the 8 places to sell your book. So number 1 is consumers and people. Sell it to people. Number 2 are to sell it to for-profit companies. Number 3 is to sell it to nonprofit organizations. Number 4 is to sell it to religious institutions. And number 5 is to sell it to schools and universities, whether it's higher education or K-12 institutions as well. All right. Who's ready for number 6? If you are able to post the top 5 that I just gave, the first 5, if you write in the comments the first 5, I'm going to send you a free book. I want to see who is paying attention tonight. I want to see who's learning tonight. Hopefully this is valuable for you guys. If you have questions, if you have comments, I want you to ask those comments or bring those questions to me so that we can be able to navigate your specific situation, get you the answers that you need, the strategy that you need, so that you can be able to go off and implement that strategy. All right. So let's get it. So number six are vendor opportunities and conferences. Look, you have to get your name out there. You do. Are there any opportunities for you to vend at a local event or nationally event? Afrotech, I went there last year in November. 22,000 people were there. 22,000. So there were companies there that were trying to hire, obviously, talent tech in the tech industry. That would have been an amazing opportunity for you to get your book in front of 22,000 people. Now, with any vendor opportunity or conference that you're going to, there's going to be an investment attached to it. So, one thing that you'll have to think about is all of those little steps. So, how are we getting there? What is the cost? How many books do we have to print? What is the cost there? And then, how many books would we essentially have to sell at that specific price point in order for this to be a return on our investment? Okay. So, when you think about hotels and travel and food and how long the event is, and is this my right market? And think about not just the book, but also think about the potential upsells. So let's say I'm selling this book on how to write a book and how to build a business from your book. The upsell may be I may sell 100 books and I may lose money, but I may have gotten 3 clients that are high ticket at $25,000 a pop. So it was worth my while. So when you put everything together, where is your market going to be? What types of conferences, what types of opportunities or events do I need to be a vendor at? Get a retractable banner, print out some books, print out some business cards, print out some handwritten cards that can go with the book, and make your table, approachable and valuable and presentable. And then go to these different events, spend that investment so that you can be able to make an ROI. Now, what you're able to do is I would recommend hiring some type of videographer or photographer, and then bringing that person with you so they can showcase you working with different people. They can showcase you interacting, and now they can show you taking pictures with other people. All of that will help with your marketing material as you continue to move forward. All right. So vendors and conference opportunities are absolutely phenomenal, and they will definitely be able to help you. So what I wrote in the book on this one, right? At every conference I have attended, I've left with a material that I've purchased, whether a t-shirt, physical book, or educational program to continue to enhance my learning. Conferences, community forums, or different opportunities for you to be a vendor at an event serve as a great place to position yourself and book for selling opportunities. When you think of the places that you go and you spend money, you love the little knickknacks. And if you're really getting value from that event or a value from that speaker, you want to go buy a book. You want to go buy a book either for you or for a family member or for a friend back home. So when you think about your book, I need you to position it at the next conference, whether it's locally or somewhere that you have to travel to. Shout out to Bernadette posting the top 5. Absolutely love it. So anybody who's just hopping on, these are the top 5. These are the top 5. Sell to people and communities, sell to books, sell books to companies, sell to nonprofits, sell to religious institutions, in schools and universities. And then the next one, the last one that I just gave, number 6, is vendor opportunities and conferences. All right, so who's ready for number 7? Who's ready for number 7? Can we put a 7 in the chat? Put a 7 in the comment section if you are ready for number 7. We're almost at number 8. We're almost at number 8. We literally have 2 more. We have 2 more. Hopefully this has been valuable for you guys and continues to open up your mind for all of the possibilities that you can have with selling your books on multiple platforms in multiple different places. But number 7, love the 7s coming in. Number 7 is governmental organizations, prisons, or county jails. All right, so I'm going to say this. So every year, our goal is to help 100 incarcerated men write their stories. Okay, I got initially introduced to this years ago. One of my mentors at the time did a lot of work within the prison system, and we went into the prison system. We started working with the incarcerated males. And what I realized doing this work is that they're people too. They have real problems. They have real challenges. They have real aspirations. They have real dreams. So they need real resources to be able to help them transition away from the decision that got them where they are and be able to more effectively transition them into the place where they desire to be. Give them that second chance through providing them your resource now. Okay. So these governmental organizations, prisons, county sheriff's offices, jails, they have a budget for this type of resource, as well as a lot of the prisons these days. Securus Technologies is one of the companies that supplies prisons with tablets. Okay. You can provide educational resources on that tablet. So let's say you have a physical book and it's like, Kyle, it'd be a lot for me to get all of my physical books in all these different places. Well, then provide the educational ebook, okay? Provide the electronic copy of your book so that these men or women, depending on who you serve, can get access to your material on their tablet. And I believe it's a cost to that tablet. Even if they were paying $1 a month on that tablet, if you got access to 100,000 people, now you're able to generate revenue by people accessing your high quality information and your intellectual property. So that's just something to consider. Where can you help people where are a lot of people? So they're at conferences, they're in companies, they're in potential jails or prisons, they're at schools and universities, they're working with nonprofit organizations, they congregate at religious institutions. So number 7 is governmental organizations, prisons or county jails, because there's people there too that need the resources that you have. So all of these different things, everything that we've talked about tonight, it's about identifying the place that your people are at, understanding how your message connects with those people, then identifying the person at that place that can help you bridge the gap between your information and their specific pain point and challenge. Once you bridge the gap, now you're able to work with that institution, whomever it is, right? So that you can be able to move the reader or the receiver of your information through your framework so that you could be able to get them to what we talked about at the beginning of this training, to their desired place, to that transformation, to that result. The goal of anything, your book, just like a curriculum in school, is a totality of learning experiences. These pages in here are the totality of educational or learning experiences or lived experiences. So all of the experiences, all of the stories, all of the information is moving people through a framework so that you can move them through a transformative process to take them to where they are when they started reading the book to where they desire to be, your objective of your book from the reader's perspective. All right. So, all right, number 8. Who's ready for number 8? Number 8, number 8, number 8. Put an 8 in the comment section if you are ready for number 8. Put an 8 in the comment section if you are ready for number 8. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Number 8. I know I said that nonprofit organizations are my favorite, but I believe number 8 is probably my favorite. Okay. I believe that number 8 is definitely my favorite. So number 8 is coaches and other experts. Coaches and other expert communities. Coaches and other expert communities. So when you think about what I wrote down is one of the major traffic sources that helped me grow our company to an established is to go into an established community of other coaches, consultants, or experts and share specific information that could benefit the audience. So when you think about your book, when you think about the information that you're talking about in your book, the information that you're sharing, where are other people talking about this? Where is your audience already paying to learn about this specific similar information? Where are they at? Okay. So when you think about certain podcast communities or mastermind groups, or there are other coaches in your industry that maybe don't necessarily talk about what you talk about, but their market can benefit from what you talk about in your book, you need to reach out to that coach or consultant. You need to reach out to that expert. You need to reach out to that thought leader and say, hey, I have this resource that can benefit your program, that can benefit your people, that can benefit your audience. What would it take for me to come on and present to your organization or present to your platform and then be able to position my book as a required reading as a part of the book club that you guys already have? A lot of these expert communities have book clubs. They have required readings. They have resources. How can we do a revenue share with every person that comes into your subscription program gets one of our books and we give you 30% of the revenue that comes in? Those types of partnerships work. Those types of partnerships will allow you to take your book to the next level in regards to visibility, in regards to expanding your overall voice, brand equity, brand awareness, and then revenue will be able to increase. So let's run this back. So number 8 was coaches and other experts. Number 7 was governmental organizations, prisons, or county jails. Number 6 was vendor opportunities and conferences. Number 5 was schools and universities. Number 4 was religious institutions. Number 3, nonprofit organizations. Number 2, companies. And number 1 is what? Is us, is people, y'all. So here are the 8 places to be able to position and sell your book. Last night, we talked about the 9 streams of income, the 9 streams of income that are necessary to be able to create as you're thinking through your book. As you're thinking through your book. So we have 9 streams of income that we talked about last night. Today, we talked about an additional 8 places to be able to position your book. So that is 17 places or streams of income that we can leverage as being authors, thought leaders, experts, geniuses, like I like to call us, okay, authorpreneurs, so that we can use all of these different places to be able to share our message, impact people, scale our story, monetize our message, and be able to magnify our voice. Okay. So you have to understand and look at you in a way where it's like, which one would make me feel most comfortable? Which one aligns with my book and my market and or my objective from this mission the most? Which one, if I partnered with these types of places, would make me feel the most proud and happy and joyful inside? Which one? And all of that is about you and asking yourself and being strong and being fortified and understanding your mission, your objective of selling this book, your objective of writing this book. And that's why on the front end, it's about your overall goal. What is your goal? Where are you trying to make a difference? You have your income related goals, and then you have your impact related goals. What are the goals that you're trying to achieve? So tonight was very intentional, very quick as we move through the 8 places that you can sell your books. But the reality of it is that if you just chose one and you focused in on building the right relationships with the right people at the right time, and you position your book the right way, you would be able to create hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue a year from that one model. Okay. So look, if you have any further questions at all, please reach out to us at thewritersgame.com, You can reach out to us by email at info@thewritersgame.com. Tomorrow, you have to be here. We're talking about how to generate $30,000 from a pre-launch. $30,000 from pre-launching your book. I'm so excited for this. And anybody that is an author, if you know an author, if you want to be an author, I need you to subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when we go live tomorrow and we teach you how to generate $30,000 from a pre-launch and a book. Let's get it. So I am so glad that you guys joined us tonight. Hopefully this was valuable. Leave any comments or questions below this video if you're watching the replay, and a team member or myself, of course, will be able to get back with you. I love you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.